As a Christian, it's essential to be cautious and discerning when consuming information from mainstream media outlets. Unfortunately, mainstream media has become increasingly biased and unreliable, making it challenging for Christians to trust the news and information they disseminate. There are several reasons why Christians should be wary of the mainstream media, and these reasons are rooted in the media's worldview, values, and practices. First and foremost, the mainstream media often promotes a secular and humanistic worldview that is antithetical to Christian values. Many media outlets prioritize stories and perspectives that undermine traditional Christian teachings on issues like marriage, family, and morality. For instance, the media often sensationalizes and glorifies lifestyles and behaviors that are contrary to biblical principles, while downplaying or mocking Christian perspectives. This bias is not only evident in the types of stories they cover, but also in the way they frame and present the news. Another reason Christians cannot trust the mainstream media is their propensity for misinformation and disinformation. In their haste to break stories and drive ratings, many media outlets prioritize sensationalism over fact-checking and accuracy. This has led to numerous instances of fake news, where false or misleading information is presented as factual. As Christians, we are called to be truthful and honest, and it's essential to be aware of the media's tendency to distort or manipulate information to fit the narrative. The mainstream media's treatment of Christian issues and personalities is also a significant concern. Often, Christians are portrayed as intolerant, bigoted, or extremist, while their beliefs and values are ridiculed or marginalized. This kind of biased reporting creates a false narrative and perpetuates negative stereotypes about Christians. Moreover, the media's selective coverage of Christian news and events can be misleading, as they often focus on controversies or scandals within the Christian community while ignoring the many positive contributions and achievements of Christians. Furthermore, the mainstream media's ownership and sponsorship structure can also influence their reporting and editorial decisions. Many media outlets are owned by large corporations or individuals with their own agendas and interests, which can impact the type of content they produce. For example, media outlets may avoid criticizing or investigating certain companies or organizations that are major advertisers or sponsors. This can lead to a lack of transparency and accountability, as well as a failure to report on important issues that affect Christians in the broader community. In addition, the mainstream media's reliance on social media platforms and online content can also be problematic. Social media algorithms and trending topics can create a false sense of urgency and importance around certain issues, while overshadowing more significant and relevant stories. As Christians, it's essential to be aware of the media's online presence and how they use social media to shape public opinion and influence cultural narratives. Finally, as Christians, we must recognize that the mainstream media is not a neutral or objective entity. They often have a clear agenda and ideology that shapes their reporting and editorial decisions. In contrast, Christians are called to seek truth and wisdom, and to be discerning in their consumption of information. By being aware of the mainstream media's biases and limitations, Christians can make informed decisions about the news and information they trust, and seek out alternative sources that align with their values and principles. In conclusion, as Christians, we cannot trust the mainstream media to provide accurate, unbiased, and trustworthy information. The secular and humanistic worldview, propensity for misinformation, and biased treatment of Christian issues and personalities are just a few reasons why. By being aware of these limitations and biases, Christians can be more discerning in their consumption of media and seek out alternative sources that promote truth, wisdom, and biblical values. Ultimately, as Christians, we must prioritize our relationship with God and His Word, and seek to be informed and educated through a variety of sources, including Christian media outlets, biblical teaching, and prayerful discernment.